the core of the relationship has to be built on something.
Yes,
The
too.
core of why you're even getting together. Why would I want to talk to you on a date?
Mhm. Mhm.
If it's not just physical, if it's not just financial, what would bring me towards just being in your presence as the thing that I want to enjoy?
Yeah. Hey guys, how are you? It's Divamila over here,
And it's SJ.
and you're listening to One More Day podcast.
One more day.
One more day.
We definitely have to write a full
Losing my
song since
voice.
we're both singers, but for right now, enjoy the.
Oh, I'm like,
They done
wait.
already heard. You didn't. Don't tell me you forgot what our theme song
No,
is.
I was connecting. Yeah,
Okay,
I know what you're
I'm
talking
gonna
about.
leave her alone on that one. So,
How you
honey,
guys doing over there?
yeah. Oh, sorry. Just don't want
I
to.
just want to talk to my podcast friends.
Oh,
What are you guys
outside of SJ, let
doing?
me just.
I'm just kidding. Hi, honey.
Hi. So, what is today's topic?
Oh, today's topic is never stop dating your spouse.
Yes, never stop dating your spouse. And
How does
why?
that look like? What is dating
Well, I
to you?
mean, dating is the process of, to me, showing someone that you care in different ways. And that
Mm-hmm.
is to get to know them, that is to listen to them,
Mm-hmm.
that is spending time. Dating is, I believe, spending time, which is why something like new dates going to a movie is probably not ideal.
I see what you mean.
You know,
Yeah.
because you're
Mm-hmm.
just sitting there watching something without really
Mm-hmm.
hearing what the other person has to say, what they can contribute to your
Mm-hmm.
life and enrich your life. So never stop dating your spouse is important.
Yeah, I think it's very important.
Yeah.
And, you know, you saying spending time, that means even the word dating comes from date,
Mm-hmm.
where you have to be intentional in putting or jotting down somewhere, thinking about it, like, how am I going to date my spouse today? So
Mm-hmm.
being intentional. And, you know, for us, I think, I don't know whether it was because of the pandemic or that's just how we are.
Mm-hmm.
It was sort of, it was perfect for us the way we dated, you know?
Yeah. I mean, most people have heard our story who are listening, but some people haven't. So a lot of our dating came from an online app, you
Mm-hmm.
know? I think at that time we only used
We
Instagram.
used Instagram. Yeah.
And later on were more discovered apps because I had to be in quarantine while I was here. But in general, you had to be really creative,
Mm-hmm.
you know? Had to be
Yeah.
creative with the dates.
It was very new and unique for me, but I
Yeah.
loved every moment because, you know, we're married now. So
Mm-hmm.
obviously we're focusing on dating your spouse. Never stop dating your spouse. But when we were dating earlier on, I will never forget how you planned my birthday online, you know.
mm.
You were just, you went full on
Ah,
in terms of being intentional.
I think I did well.
No, I mean, if you proposed there, I would have been like, I do.
Oh, wow.
No, but the reason it was special to me was you created this long distance dating relationship,
Mm-hmm.
to be very intimate and up close, front row. And when I mean intimate, is you were intentional with what I would need for my birthday.
Mm-hmm.
For example, you send me an email and said, okay, this is a menu I created for us to celebrate your birthday. You had designed the menu and beautiful font, colors, whole course meal. I'm like, who is this guy? You know, and it was exciting because you were taking me on an experience
mm.
while we were still what is it? We were still dating online, pandemic. But anyway, that was a special birthday. And it kind of revealed who you are as a person, your character, because honestly, if you were just impressing me, that takes time to do that sort of
Mm-hmm.
approach of how you
Mm-hmm.
did it. It took time
Mm-hmm.
to plan it that way.
Yeah, I mean,
right?
for me, I think usually if you really sit back and think about what you enjoy, most people who are like-minded will enjoy what you enjoy. It's like
Mm-hmm.
going to a concert that a lot of people enjoy an artist that everyone's not exactly the same, but there's something about that artist that they're drawn to. I feel the same when it comes to restaurants or just things that people consume in large quantities of people. So for me, I said, I enjoy an Italian menu. I made sure that the menu had first course, second course, third course. Usually people enjoy fancy restaurants.
Mm-hmm.
I also thought about the different things that I had imagined in my mind for someone who I thought would appreciate it,
Hmm.
would truly be able to enjoy for their particular special day. And I think that because of my experiences before courting you, I knew that I couldn't squander those experiences with anyone else. And
Yeah.
I just could see that your heart was ready to receive. So then I decided, I was like, this is a time to be vulnerable enough to show her all of my background in art, in graphic design,
Mm-hmm.
in music, in taste testing, and travels. In
Without necessarily telling me or me asking you,
right.
but you just presented through, and that's how I understood who you were as a person.
Yeah, and
Mm-hmm.
it definitely did not go without still trying to be secretive because at the end of the day, we spoke every day
Yeah.
and you decided that you wanted to zero in on a picture that
You
kind
know,
of
I
ruined
can
the
be a
entire
detective,
surprise.
you know.
So what I'm talking about is there was a picture of these balloons that were in my apartment at the time. I had these wide open windows so you can see everything into the apartment and these balloons were on top of like a whole clothing rack that I was using as kind of a barricade for privacy from the outside world. So these balloons spelled Diva Mile's name Tivamlie.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought I was just showing her like a couch or something. And she was like, oh, was that my? And the problem is that I immediately deleted, I think, the photo, but you had already seen it.
Yeah.
And it was
Mm-hmm.
like a day or two before her birthday, but I had gone out to look for those balloons, right?
Yeah.
But then again,
During the COVID, you know, you went to
yeah, I mean,
search.
I went over to Party City over by over by 14th Street. I was looking, searching. I was like, how can I find this long? Why couldn't your name be Jan? You know what I'm saying?
Ivamila is just my first
Mary,
name.
you know what I'm saying? It had to be this long letter name. And I got every single letter. I put them on a string. I had this area and a headboard area. At the time, I was using an air mattress. That's neither here nor there. But because I was new to the apartment, I put them on a string and I hooked them up to these little hooks that you usually put like bags or umbrellas on. And they were on each side of those barriers or borders, I would say, where the headboard usually sits. And that's where I had my big reveal when I
Mm-hmm.
finally had our date.
Yeah,
So,
yeah. And you know, that I love that and I love seeing that, but most of all experiencing it because it made me just think even if we were sharing a bowl of white rice, you would find a way to make it special, you
oh,
know?
yeah, we wouldn't be
Yeah.
sharing a bowl of right ways though. But I got you.
I mean, people do that, couples
And
do
no,
that.
and no knock on
I
that.
know a story. I know there's one time where my parents were sharing a rice of bowl, but
Oh, now I
I
feel bad.
and you know, mom said that was special to her because
Mm,
they got closer. It was about sharing,
hmm.
and just that experience. I mean, they've been in rooms where there's what is it, Prince William, Prince Harry, Prince Charles,
Dignitaries and people of,
dignitaries. So
influence.
that to have dinner or dining with people in that status, but then remember that also special moment. It reminds me how it's important to always date your spouse and not have to think it has to be a huge impression or to do that.
Well,
It
that is
has
a
to be
mis.
perfect and
Well, also to add to that, your parents come from a specific generation, right? Even then, people could go all out and try to impress. But I think the hard part now is that we have social media, we have a lot of things that bring unrealistic expectations of people that they can't live up to.
mhm,
And you start to compare and covet other people's things. And then you think that that's going to impress the next person.
mhm,
When if the intention is just to impress others who are looking in from
mhm.
the outside, then that connection with the person you're really trying to cultivate a relationship with might not even be able to receive it in a way that you intended because it's
Yeah.
all about everyone else.
Mhm.
The core of the relationship has to be built on something.
Yes,
The
too.
core of why you're even getting together. Why would I want to talk to you on a
Mm-hmm.
date?
Mm-hmm.
If it's not just physical, if it's not just financial, what would bring me towards just being in your presence as the thing that I want to enjoy,
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
you know?
Yeah, and it's great because if you are someone who wants to go all out,
Mm-hmm.
and then you come into a situation where you can't anymore, but then you're stuck, you don't know what you can do. That's also a problem.
Yeah.
So think for example, the other day a friend of mine shared a story. She wrote Starbucks dating with my husband and their little
Mm.
4-month-old.
Oh.
I wrote back because I could relate and said yes. Always trying to find a way to date, especially now that they have a newborn.
Mm-hmm.
I could relate to that because we're trying to find ways, or we try to remember to find ways to still date each other,
Mm-hmm.
even with a baby. And the other day, we were just going out for groceries.
Oh, right. We were going out for groceries, and you could usually just go and just get things just because they're there. Like, say, for instance, you want a pizza. You can go to the nearest little kiosk inside a mall where there's a food court and get a pizza. You
Or
got
Food Panda it.
yeah,
Uber
or
it.
however you do it, right?
Mhm.
However, we saw this beautiful made truck that had like an actual brick oven. It had these beautiful white bulbs that spelled out pizza. It had these pictures that described it in English and Chinese, and beautiful white boxes. And of course, the smell of the oregano, the basil, the tomato sauce, really just capturing
Lord,
our
that's
our
nice.
nostrils going towards the truck. And it was a food truck on the outside of that said grocery store,
Mhm.
but something was special about what was drawing us there, and it was the ability to draw us into its world. What is
Yeah.
the world that it's creating?
Mhm.
And that turned into kind of a semi-date night by getting 2 boxes. Yes, 2 boxes. They were decent sizes. And we tore those things up. I think we had it for 2 days. It wasn't all
Yeah.
at once, but even if it was, it's okay.
It was pretty. The
Yeah,
night was nice. The atmosphere. So we made it a date night,
absolutely.
the
Absolutely.
intentions of that.
Yeah, and it became that because I think that upon us getting together, there were certain things that, and I won't speak for you, but there were certain things that I was telling you, like,
Mm-hmm.
do it because it's like not a rehearsal. Your life is not a rehearsal. This is not
Mhm.
something that you just try on for size and then you can go back tomorrow and do it again. Like, in this moment,
Mhm.
what are you actually enjoying?
Yeah. Mhm.
And so for you, what was that like before we got married? Were there things that you feel like you were just, I mean, that's what it is, so I'm just
Mhm.
going to settle for this? Is that?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Especially the older you become,
Hmm.
you just start settling for whatever could be offered, or you think, oh, I won't receive it because it's
What, expensive or?
it's I wouldn't say it's too late, but you're focusing on, let's just get to the point, if that makes sense.
Well, I mean, I call it like just grabbing low hanging fruit. And I think
Mhm.
one characteristic that I think you're starting to get used to is the fact that
Like
things,
most people would probably do that,
what,
or
just
find,
grab and go, just grab the most convenient thing.
yeah.
Well,
Well,
yeah, and
mhm.
I don't believe that we have to be like most people.
Yes.
And I know that personality wise, there are some unique traits that I carry that might be to the extreme, that might even be considered bougie. But what I want to apologize for is the level of quality that I require in my life to experience something to its fullest potential, whether that's be a meal I make or an outfit or a pair of shoes I buy. It's not really about the material things. It's really about the quality of the experience.
Mhm.
And sometimes you cut so many corners. And since we're talking about dating, I can take you to a Mickey D's or wherever, and it will still be meaningful if I have you there, right?
Mhm.
But if every time I attempt to do something for you, I'm always trying to cut the corner because it's just the bare minimum, then at a certain point, it might start to feel like, well, he
Mhm.
just does the bare minimum or she
Mhm.
just does the bare minimum. But I want us to have a certain level of excellence that we strive towards that is not perfection, it's
Mhm.
just quality of life. And that
Yeah.
even, and if you notice, those people who are very healthy in the world, a lot of times with very little money, they stay healthy because they look at the back of their labels. They see what they're trying to get. What's in the fabric? What's in the what's it called? Laundry detergent. What are they examining that would change the experience for them? And it's usually an entire lifestyle they've created for themselves that coincides with this healthy being. It's not just one thing.
It's not just one thing. And so when you asked me before we met, how did dating look like? Or what were my expectations of dating? And I've had a few people pursue me, a few guys pursue me, and there was interest, but it wouldn't go any further, you know? And I think what I needed, which you presented, was the taking the time to not only date me, but to understand what she needs in the date, because I would probably downplay it, you know, like really being romantic with flowers, roses, or oops, I'm hitting the mic. That's typical. Lots of people love flowers, but you picked very elegant roses.
That's what I do. That's what I do. No,
that's actually me. You know, even if I would never say, "Get me those elegant roses," you took time to understand with intentions what I would really like, and then you presented it beautifully.
Well, thank you for bringing that up, because I had only one shot the first time I did it, because I did it a few times. I sent you flowers a few times, but
it wasn't just to impress me.
No, I had to think about, who am I getting these flowers for? If I am like a cartoon and a Looney Tune cartoon, I'll just get the red roses. Nothing wrong with red roses, but there was stages to our relationship. And what I felt at the time was I could see myself with this woman. We hadn't been engaged yet, but I wanted to send you something that said, "I love you," without being too far in to it. Like I wanted it to feel like love for sure. Because I don't know if I had said "I love you" yet, but regardless of the fact, when I sent those roses and the different assortments, I said, what makes me feel like this is her? What about this says it? And you use the word elegance, class, beauty. And I just said, how can I customize this? Instead of just going by, okay, the sale is this, nothing wrong with that. That might be what you can afford, might be what you can do. But I said, this feels custom to her. And I think that's really what it comes down to in this conversation. Can never stop dating your spouse and never stop listening to the things that they need and want from you in that department, so that it's always exciting and it always feels like, oh, so wow, you know me. Hey family, if you've been enjoying this podcast today, please be sure to
subscribe and hit the notification bell.
Thank you so much for your support. Now back to today's episode. You did a great thing on was it Christmas? It was Christmas, right?
Oh, it was Christmas, yeah.
You did an incredible thing where you booked a painting studio.
Yeah, I know you love painting.
And I've been an artist since I was 3 years old. I've been an artist my entire life. So I could have stayed there for like 10 hours if they would have let me.
I know.
I could have.
Sure, yeah.
And the ambiance was right.
And that's another thing I had to research.
Right. You know, she had graciously asked, like, which one would you like? Because I knew it was coming, but it was so much better experiencing it in the real time, because the ambiance was exactly dimly lit places with dark walls and chic fonts. Let's just say what it is. Like there's certain aesthetics that I respond really well to. Some people might like something that's more funky graffiti, like that's fine too. I like certain things a certain way. When I go to my restaurants, when I go to a spa, when I go to there's just certain things I look for. Do I always get them? No. But sometimes when I can help it, I'm like going to choose that option. And it's not for everybody, but because it was me and you knew it, I was like, yeah, honey, this was a great choice. This was a great, and you brought it to my attention with other options. That's another great thing. I love options too.
Yeah.
Like, I'll search around the world for the same jacket. I'll be like, okay, it's 1200 here, but maybe it's 400 here and the quality is just as good, or maybe it doesn't have the label here. There's some stuff you balance that out, but that's kind of how you have to look at dating. Like, what are the different ways that you can make it interesting in your marriage while showing somebody something? Maybe they've seen the same thing over and over again, but now you're doing it in a canoe. You're doing it
Oh
on
yeah,
a
you've
gondola,
done that
you know?
in so many times. You know, most of you guys know, those who know me, I love dressing up. I
Mm.
enjoy shopping. But what I've really enjoyed when SJ dates me through shopping, he encourages me to see and to try on things I would never think of trying
Oh,
on,
you're a quick
you
no.
know.
No, that's not going to work. No.
I don't know whether it's like the older you get, you're just kind of like, I'm good with that. But that's another thing, the intentions of dating. It's not just here's money, go shopping, but him going shopping with me and then encouraging me to try new outfits.
Yeah, and
Um,
because of my passion for it, right? I
mhm,
have a passion for fashion. I have a passion for also seeing my wife look good. Let's
mhm,
call a spade a spade. At the end of the day, you're the woman I chose forever.
mhm,
So if I'm gonna be looking at you, I want you to look like something I'm
mhm,
attracted to.
mhm.
And so
Yeah.
if you're not willing to try on
Mhm,
something that I'm like, oh, I'm attracted to, I'm literally attracted to the garment. I want
mhm,
to see your body in it.
mhm,
Do me a favor, do me a
mhm.
solid. Don't just deny it,
Yeah,
you
and
know?
it's not only about the look, but
No.
it's also you knowing deep in my heart that you will look great in that. Because as soon as I wear it, I'm also lighting up like, oh wow,
Yeah, the
I
esteem goes
never
up.
would have tried
The
this
confidence is
pants
there,
or
right?
this dress because we're so used to our own routine.
Right.
And sometimes dating, never stop dating your spouse. Change up things. It changes up your
Can I
routine.
add to that?
Yeah.
Here's the thing, what maybe you didn't realize is that
Mhm.
maybe I'm just going to guess a part of that attitude might be, who am I doing this for? Initially,
Mm,
because if
mhm,
you're used to doing shopping by yourself, you don't have a mate, that's not somebody you want to impress or even bring forth an allure that's positive and godly in your marriage,
mhm,
then maybe your efforts will be less because you're like, well, this is for work and this is for my girls, or I'm out, but I'm your husband, right?
mhm.
And you're my wife. So even when we're doing a window shopping situation, there should be a sense of like, he's going to like this.
Mhm.
It
Yeah.
should be,
Yeah.
I know we're going to have people out there going to be like, it should be for you, girl. Sure. Sure, you should enjoy what you put on and you should have
Mhm.
confidence in yourself. But we committed our lives to each other
Mhm.
and before God. And the thing is, there should be an element of, I wonder if he'll like this.
Yeah.
We should be thinking like that.
Yeah.
I think about it. I'm like, I wonder if she'll like this suit or this shirt.
Mhm.
And I'll ask you, and you'll be like, no or yes. It might
Mhm.
happen, but that effort is where it becomes spicy. It becomes
Yeah.
sexy. It becomes like,
It's new.
oh, okay, okay, and why not keep it exciting? A garment can tell you a million things about a person,
Mhm.
and then you
Yeah.
take that garment out, you put it on for that hot date, and then get it on and pop it.
Yeah.
It just it's all these elements
Mhm.
are
I'll
important.
write that down. I'll need to remember that. Don't want those clothes to collect us. But
No.
yeah, speaking of garments and dating,
Hmm.
there's something else that I realize if you never stop dating your spouse, you explore new love languages because there's this whole thing. Understand your spouse's love language, and
Hmm.
maybe you have two or three, and then the other ones don't count. But actually, when you intentionally date,
Hmm.
those other love languages also start being awakened or evolving,
Hmm.
which is great. Maybe your
Hmm.
quality time um, is what matters to you, but then you realize, no, I also am a gift person.
Hmm.
It's just like before I didn't I was afraid to show that I love receiving gifts
Oh
or
man.
giving gifts because of rejection
I don't know
issues.
one woman in the world, but I get you. I get you. I don't know one woman.
Yeah,
I
no,
want to receive a
really.
gift.
Maybe you're not used to saying thank you because it's such a vulnerable space to be in. But actually, the more you practice all the love languages, you learn that you need them all,
I
you
also
know?
think that maybe you're used to being a giver.
Mm-hmm.
And dating is an exchange.
Mm-hmm.
A date is something that when a person is deciding to spend that time with you, they are truly cherishing a moment like never before. It is creating a brand new experience that can be shared through food, movies, a card game. Like, I mean, we even bought Connect Four during the pandemic, or during the time
were
where
listening.
Yeah. Oh, right. I searched
You
and
listened.
searched. Mind you, guys, it's not easy to find Connect Four in Taiwan. I'm sorry. If you don't know where to look,
I've been here that long, and
if you don't know where to look, you might not find it. Okay. I stumbled upon it, and I said to myself, do I even want to do this? And I'm only saying that because there was a lot of stuff in line. She was pregnant. There was a lot of things we were doing that I said, okay, she mentioned it, but as soon as I did it, you were so excited.
Yeah.
It was unexpected. And that act in itself got me so many brownie points just from you. You kept on saying, oh, you want to play? You want to play?
Yeah.
We've been watching TV, YouTube, all types of stuff. But as soon as that Connect Four was in the house, we haven't played in a while, right? But in that season where you really wanted to play, it meant something.
Yeah.
And had I not take heed to what I remembered you saying, I'd have been like, yeah, that's cute. Diva really likes it. But then why not act on it? It changes the dynamic. It adds another layer to, we play Connect Four together.
Yeah.
I beat her butt, but that's okay.
You always do. I beat you once.
I was caught off guard. I was like, wait, what? She was like, go for it.
With that said, is there any closing words you would like to share?
Are you going to wrap this thing up?
No.
You're going to wrap it up at like 26 minutes? These episodes are at least 30 minutes. Okay. I understand.
You know why
I done told her, oh, wait, she's probably hungry. The baby. You don't understand. Sometimes we shoot multiple episodes. Let's just keep it a buck, okay? This was a long time coming, this particular episode. Anyway, I would say that don't be afraid to try new things, guys. Don't be afraid to be corny, too. Yeah. Whatever that means to you, right? I did not know if you were going to look at that digital menu that I made with a primi plate, which means like a first course menu. And, I got you what vegan ravioli and like pistachio ice cream and all a salad.
Italian. And
all Italian based.
Italy is one of my favorite countries I've been in. So that connection too.
Right. And I listen and it's a place that I know well. Been there 2 years of my life, performing and stuff, but neither here nor there. Don't be afraid to just tap into the unique aspects of yourself that would excite you. See if this person that you chose for the rest of your life would enjoy that too, because that's the purpose. If I love these things, I want that person I'm with to be like, you know what, I love that too. We have that in common. If it's always like, go back to the drawing board, you have to reevaluate what it is that you want in the relationship, because I don't want to be married just to be married. I want to have fun with you.
Just hearing you say that, I'm like motivated again. I'm like, let's go. Let's
do this. I think about it every day. In the times where maybe things don't seem like they're everything we want it to be. There's so much power in being with your best friend for life, where you can have that feeling like you had when you were a kid. Like, I can't wait to go to that person's house and enjoy. And like, you should feel like that with your spouse. If you don't, then
what's wrong with you? That's definitely, you're taking the words out of my mouth. I used to think like that. When I get married, I hope it's like a friend, you meet at the playground.
You're like,
hi, let's play. And we have those moments. So
absolutely. But yeah,
that's good. I feel fired up, and I hope you do too. We're gonna end there because the baby is crying. But remember to never stop dating your spouse.
Never, never.
Yeah, be creative.
Yes.
Always. There's all room for that.
And thanks for tuning into One More Day, guys. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and rate this on any listening channel you're listening on.
Okay, talk to you soon. Bye.